High above the ancient temples of Angkor, as the sun dips below the horizon, the skies of Cambodia come alive, not with birds of prey, but with something far more mysterious and majestic, the Cambodian Flying Fox. These are not the tiny, echolocating bats of folklore nightmares. These are megabats, giant fruit bats with wingspans reaching up to 1.5 meters or nearly 5 feet. Known scientifically as Pteropus vampirus, the large flying fox, they are among the biggest bats in the world. Despite their imposing size and scientific name suggesting something vampiric, they are gentle giants that feed exclusively on fruit nectar and flowers. No blood, no sonar, just keen eyesight, an excellent sense of smell, and powerful wings that carry them dozens of kilometers each night. In Cambodia, these flying foxes are a living link between the wild forests and human landscapes. Today, we'll explore their remarkable biology, their deep roots in local legends and folklore across Southeast Asia, and their vital presence in Siem Reap and other corners of the country. Join us on a journey into the twilight world of Cambodia's winged guardians. Biology and behavior. Let's start with the bat itself. The large flying fox is a member of the genus Pteropus, often called fruit bats or flying foxes, because their fox-like faces and large, expressive eyes give them an almost mammalian charm rather than a batty terror. Adults can weigh over a kilogram, about 2 pounds, with a body length of around 30 centimeters. Their wings are broad and leathery, dark in daylight, but glowing with a reddish-orange hue when backlit by the setting sun. A thick mantle of golden orange fur covers their shoulders and neck, contrasting with darker bodies. Unlike smaller bats, flying foxes do not echolocate. They rely on sharp vision and smell to navigate and find food. At dusk, massive colonies, sometimes numbering the thousands, erupt from tall roost trees in a chaotic, noisy symphony of wings and calls. They are highly social animals, communicating with loud vocalizations that sound like barks, screeches, and chatters. During the day, they hang upside down in dense clusters, fanning themselves with their wings to stay cool and grooming one another in tight social bonds. Their diet makes them ecological heroes. They feast on nectar from flowers like durian and mango, and ripe fruits such as rambutan, bananas, and papayas. As they travel up to 50 kilometers a night along familiar routes, they pollinate plants and disperse seeds across vast distances, helping regenerate forests in ways few other animals can match. In feeding groups of 2 to 50, they play a quiet but crucial role in maintaining Cambodia's biodiversity. But life isn't easy. They face threats from habitat loss due to deforestation, hunting for bushmeat in parts of Southeast Asia, and conflicts with fruit farmers who see them as orchard raiders. In Cambodia, hunting is officially prohibited, yet pressures remain. These migratory mammals travel across borders, making their conservation a regional challenge. life in Siem Reap, and other locations in Cambodia. Today, one of the most accessible and impressive places to witness Cambodian flying foxes is right in the heart of Siem Reap, the gateway to Angkor Wat. In the royal gardens and around Buddhist temple compounds in Siem Reap, colonies of flying foxes, primarily Lyle's flying fox, Pteropus lylii, a close relative often sharing habitats with the large flying fox, roost by day in tall trees. Numbers here have been recorded around 4,000 to 5,000 individuals in recent counts. As evening falls, locals and visitors alike look up to see swarms filling the sky, radiating out over the city and surrounding countryside to forage in orchards, fields, backyards, and mangroves. These urban roosts, often protected by monks and temple grounds, offer the bats safety from persecution. The noise of the colony, chattering, squabbling for space, becomes part of the evening's soundtrack near Siem Reap streets and markets. Yet increasing human activity, traffic, and tourism brings stress. Researchers note that urban noise and disturbance can affect these vulnerable populations, which are already declining across their range. Siem Reap's flying foxes are not isolated. Cambodia hosts several flying fox roosts, including sites in Bani Minchi, such as Ong Trapiang Timur, Battambang, Kampong Cham, Kindau, Prey Veng, and other provinces. Some colonies mix species, with a large flying fox appearing in mangrove and forest areas, while Lyle's is more common near human settlements. These bats are highly mobile. Satellite tracking of related populations shows individuals flying hundreds of kilometers across borders into Thailand, Vietnam, and beyond in search of flowering or fruiting trees. Seasonal movements follow the availability of resources in Cambodia's varied landscapes. From coastal mangroves to inland forests and riverine habitats, their presence is a boon and a challenge. Farmers sometimes conflict with them over fruit crops, but the bat's pollination services support durian and other valuable trees. Conservation groups and local authorities work to monitor roosts, raise awareness, and promote coexistence, emphasizing that protecting flying foxes means protecting Cambodia's forests and agricultural future. Conservation, conclusion, and call to wonder as these magnificent creatures vanish into the night. It's clear that the future of Cambodia's flying foxes hangs in delicate balance, listed as endangered or near threatened on the IUCN Red List. With populations declining due to hunting, habitat loss, and climate pressures, they need our protection. Efforts in Cambodia, including legal prohibitions on hunting and community-based monitoring, offer hope. By valuing their role as pollinators and seed dispersers, and respecting the cultural stories that surround them, we can ensure these giants of the sky continue to grace Khmer evenings for generations to come. History and legends and folklore. Long before science named them Pteropus vampirus, flying foxes held a powerful place in the stories and beliefs of Southeast Asian peoples, including Cambodia's Khmer culture. Across the region, bats often symbolize duality, creatures of the night that bridge worlds. In some Philippine and Malay legends, bat-like spirits such as a Manananggal or Penanglan evoke fear, a disembodied upper body with wings that hunts at night, sometimes linked to the eerie silhouette of flying foxes. Similar tales appear in Thai, Lao, and Khmer folklore, where night-flying entities like the Kraju orb drift through the darkness. These stories may draw inspiration from the bat's silent, massive flights, and their association with twilight and hidden forest realms. Yet not all tales are fearful. In many indigenous communities of Borneo and Malaysia, flying foxes represent good fortune and spiritual messengers. Among the Iban people, a bat entering a home brings protective, good vibes from shamans. Traditional dances and textiles feature stylized flying fox motifs. The Siku Keluang, or flying fox elbow, symbolizing humility and grace, as the bat folds its enormous wings modestly while roosting. In broader Southeast Asian and Pacific folklore, flying foxes appear as clever tricksters or guardians. One recurring motif tells of a rat and a flying fox trading features, explaining their shared mammalian traits. In some island stories, they are daytime messengers between humans and spirits who chose the night to safeguard sacred knowledge. While specific Khmer legends about flying foxes are woven into the rich tapestry of animist and Buddhist traditions rather than standalone epics, their presence near ancient temples and pagodas ties them to Cambodia's spiritual heritage. Locals have long observed these massive bats emerging from roosts near sacred sites, viewing them as part of the natural order protected by the spirits of the land. In a country where Buddhism and reverence for nature intertwine, flying foxes remind us that even creatures of the night contribute to life's balance, pollinating the fruits that sustain communities and forests alike. These stories highlight a cultural tension, all mixed with occasional superstition, but increasingly, recognition of their ecological importance. Mating system. Flying foxes are polygynous. Dominant males defend small territories or harems within the roost tree, mating with multiple females, often up to 10 per male. Males do not form lifelong pairs. During the breeding season, males become more aggressive, vocal, and territorial. They use scent marking from enlarged sebaceous glands on their shoulders, producing a strong, musky odor. To claim space and attract females, you may see males spreading their wings in threat displays, making loud calls and chasing rivals. Females choose mates and may stay with male for days or weeks. Mating itself occurs while hanging in the roost. It is relatively quick, and rejected males may try repeatedly with other females in the crowded colony. Is it seasonal? Yes. These bats are seasonal breeders, monoestrous, with one main cycle per year. The exact timing varies slightly by species, location, and local climate/food availability, but it is highly synchronized within a colony. For a large flying fox, Pteropus vampirus, mating peaks vary regionally, e.g. November, January in Peninsula Malaysia. Gestation lasts about 140 to 190 days, roughly 5 to 6 months. Births often peak in March, May, e.g. March, April in Thailand, April, May in the Philippines. Females give birth to usually one pup per year. Twins are rare. For Lyle's flying fox, Pteropus lylii, the species most commonly seen in Cambodian urban roosts like Siem Reap. Mating typically occurs November to early January. Births, parturition, peak around April to June, often reported as April in Cambodian colonies. Weaning happens by June, July, with pups becoming independent after 2 to 3 months. Again, usually 1 pup per female, occasional twins reported. In Cambodia specifically, including Siem Reap's royal gardens and other roosts in provinces like Kindal, Battambang, and Bani Minchi, local observations confirm mating around November and births concentrated in April. This timing ensures pups are born and weaning when fruit and nectar resources are more plentiful after the dry season transitions. Additional details on reproduction sexual maturity. Both sexes reach around 1.5 to 2 years old. Pup care. Newborns cling tightly to their mother's belly fur for the first weeks. Mothers carry them during early flights, then leave them at the roost while foraging. Pups learn to fly and forage gradually. Colony changes. During peak mating, colonies become noisier and more active during the day. After mating, some groups may temporarily disperse before regrouping for birthing. Challenges. Males can become exhausted or injured from defending territories, and the breeding season sometimes sees higher adult male mortality. Heat stress, linking back to the wing fanning behavior, can also affect pregnant females and pups. Flying foxes, including the large flying fox Pteropus vampirus and Lyle's flying fox Pteropus lylii, both relevant to Cambodia and Siem Reap colonies, often appear to flap or fan their wings while roosting during the day. This is not actual flight, but a deliberate thermoregulatory behavior. Essentially, they use their massive wings as built-in fans to stay cool. Why they do it, the main reason. Cooling down. Flying foxes are large mammals with thick fur on their bodies, and they roost in dense colonies high in trees, often exposed to tropical heat and direct sunlight in places like Siem Reap's royal gardens or other Cambodian temple compounds. They lack sweat glands, so they can't cool themselves by perspiring like humans. Radiant and convective cooling. Their wings are thin, vascularized membranes with a large surface area and many blood vessels close to the surface. When they flap or fan, they create airflow over these membranes. Warm blood circulating through the wings loses heat to the air, radiant cooling, and the moving air carries heat away, convective cooling. This lowers their core body temperature without needing to move much. It starts at moderate heat. Wing fanning often begins when ambient temperatures rise above about 23 to 30 degrees Celsius, 73 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. In hotter conditions, above 35 degrees Celsius, 95 degrees Fahrenheit, it intensifies and combines with other behaviors like panting, licking their wrists/wings for evaporative cooling via saliva, seeking shade, or clustering lower in the tree. Energy trade-off. In extreme heat, constant fanning can tire them out and increase dehydration risk, sometimes forcing bats to drink water or even leading to heat-stress deaths in severe events. But it's an essential adaptation for surviving daytime roosting in hot climates. This behavior is well documented across Pteropus species in tropical regions, including Southeast Asia and Australia. In Cambodian colonies, observers note wing fanning, especially on hot, still days when the bats hang in tight groups with limited breeze. How they do it, the mechanics. while hanging upside down by their feet, an energy-efficient position that lets them drop straight into flight at dusk. They partially unwrap or extend their wings and flap them in a rhythmic, fanning motion. The wings act like giant handheld fans. They often flap one or both wings alternately or together, creating a breeze directed over their body and wings. The motion is relatively slow and steady compared to flight flapping, more of a deliberate wave or flutter than powerful strokes. Blood flow to the wings increases during this behavior, enhancing heat dissipation. The dark or leathery wing membranes help radiate heat effectively. They may do this even while appearing to sleep or rest, as it's a passive way to manage temperature without leaving the roost. In dense colonies, the collective fanning can create a noticeable whooshing sound and slight movement in the tree canopy, which is one reason roosts in Siem Reap or other sites feel lively during the day. Other occasional reasons for wing movement, while thermoregulation is by far the primary driver, grooming or stretching, minor wing adjustments for personal hygiene, or relieving stiffness after long hangs. Social signaling. Occasional flaps during minor squabbles or interactions in the crowded roost. Ventilation. In very humid conditions, it may help circulate air to reduce stuffiness in tight clusters. It is not primarily for drying wings. They don't get wet like that during roosting or for flight preparation. They usually launch by simply letting go and dropping. The next time you stand in Siem Reap as darkness falls and see the sky darken with wings, remember, these are not pests or spirits of old tales. They are vital threads in the web of life. Silent farmers of the forest, messengers between day and night. Cambodia's flying foxes remind us that wonder still flies in our modern world. Protect them, and we protect a piece of the wild heart that beats beneath the temples of Angkor.